Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And unfortunately, on today's episode, we got to address the Kentucky Wildcats with yet another first round NCAA tournament exit. And to be honest with you, man, this episode breaks my heart because I definitely didn't see this one coming. I know the team has been inconsistent all season. But I just thought they would be better prepared. I thought they would be I just thought they would be ready for this one. And what surprised me the most was some guys that I could, that I felt pretty confident that I could rely in all season. Kind of had some of their worst moments. Reed Shepherd, I was really looking for him to try to take over the game, and he just played extremely passive the whole entire game, and I was wondering what was going on. Rob couldn't get it going. Realistically, in that game, the only people that played well were the 24-year-olds. Goku from Oakland. Now, I know that's not how you say his name, but I just call him Goku because it sounds like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. But Goku from Oakland, he's 24. Obviously, Trey Mitchell and Antonio is 24. And it just kind of made me look at things a little different because when it mattered most, the guys that both teams was dependent on was the experienced veterans. And it just kind of made me feel like Calipari is going to have to reevaluate his the way he builds his roster. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to. But I just think the days of relying on a whole team of inexperienced ball players that's just learning how to play college basketball, those days just might be over. We were talking about in the last episode how important this game was for Calipari's legacy, how important it was for Kentucky. And it's just really disappointing because I feel like Kentucky is becoming the laughingstock of the top tier programs. And I'm really, I'm really upset by that. And when Calipari first started his career at Kentucky, immediately we was back. We were one of those programs that everybody was on the lookout for. He had an amazing run in his first 5 years, won championship, 4 Final Fours. And I thought consistently he was going to turn out these type of teams that was going to be able to, just keep the momentum going. And pretty much after 2015, the momentum has just pretty much died. He's able to put out teams that can compete and, they're going to win a decent amount of games each year. They're going to make it to the tournament. But we're not really winning the SEC anymore consistently. We're not winning the conference tournament anymore. And I know a lot of people have different feelings about conference tournaments. Some people think they matter. Some people think they don't. But either way it goes, we don't win them anymore. And now it's getting to the point where we can't even get past the first weekend in the tournament. And realistically, not even past the first game. Like, we getting dropped by 14, 15 seeds. Like, it's just getting disgusting, to be honest with you. And it's like with this team, like, I'm trying to be as realistic as I can. I understand this is a hard tournament to win. The best team don't usually win this tournament. Usually I wouldn't say a Cinderella team, but usually somebody that you really didn't see coming will sneak in there and take the trophy sometimes. But if they could have just got to the Elite Eight, I think a lot of the fans would have been cool with that. A lot of the fans would have felt like, okay, we trending in the right direction. We on our way back. But I definitely just, I would have even been a little disappointed if we would have stopped at the Sweet 16, but now I would have been grateful if we could have got there. Because to just, and a lot of us, we've been talking about this team for like, when did we even start covering these guys? Like, we started probably covering these guys in like 2022, maybe, where we actually started paying attention to some of these kids and getting excited for them. And, like last year when we had, we had a couple of bad moments, we were like, all right, let's just get to, 2023, and we be good. And then after that season was over and we was like, all right, now our guys is coming in. These are going to be the guys that bring us back. So we put a lot of pressure on these guys, but because they so talented, on paper is one of the best recruiting classes that we've seen at Kentucky. So we had high expectations for these guys. And for whatever reason, they just weren't able to consistently put a good product on the court. They had several moments during the season where they looked like the best team in the country. And then they had a lot of moments where they looked like a bad team that barely should be in the top 25. And last night was one of those nights where they looked like a bottom feeding team. Like, I just don't understand what happened. The thing that kind of perplexes me about this team is just I've never seen a team recently that I can remember that was this bad on defense. We just, we had so many games where we just gave up so many points, and usually we could offset it by, we scored 90 something points a game. So usually we were able to overcome that. But every time we had a night where we didn't play well offensively, pretty much we lost. I think we had like 3 games we lost when we scored in the 70s. So we was all offense, no defense. But they even had a moment at the end of the season where they was looking like they was going in the right direction. So we were all, we were all getting excited. Calipari was telling us the same old things, like we built for March. Some of us buy into the hype. Some of us don't really care for it anymore. But, I was kind of getting excited. I was thinking they was getting ready to make a nice little run. I was thinking that, okay, we dropped some games earlier in the season, but now it's time to redeem ourselves, and we're going to at least hit this Elite 8. Give ourselves a shot at the Final Four. Like, that's what I was expecting. So I was extremely disappointed, man. And to just speak about Calipari, man, it's just nothing but bad vibes right now. Every UK fan that I talk to is so frustrated right now with Coach Calipari. I don't know if he has any support from the fan base. And me, like, because I'm such a diehard Kentucky fan, when I hear people that aren't fans of Kentucky talking about Calipari, there's still a piece of me that wants to jump in and defend him. But it's extremely difficult to do right now. And when I talk to other Kentucky fans, I have to just be honest, man. I think a change has to come. Now, what type of change it has to be, I'm not really for sure. I know we still owe Calipari like $33 million, which is a lot. So it's going to probably be hard to say fire somebody when you owe him $33 million. Does he deserve to be fired? If he wasn't at Kentucky, I'd say no. But when you at Kentucky, just unfortunately, the expectations are a little different. They might be even a little unfair, but that's just part of it. When you take the position at Kentucky, you got to be ready to deal with that. Like, you're going to get all the glory, all the praise, everything that comes with that. But you also going to have one of the most pressure-filled jobs in sports. And you got to be ready for that as well. But I feel like just the days of winning championships with young, youthful teams that's trying to learn the game is going to be tough going forward. I don't know if you're going to catch enough generational players to really take you through that tournament now and be able to beat quality, experienced teams anymore. I just don't know if freshmen can do that. Like I said last night, when you look at the guys that actually stepped up and performed, they was all 24-year-old. Wasn't no young guys really stepping up in that game. It was all of the veterans. And I feel like, of course, you're going to have to add some youth to your team. So I get it. Calipari going to always have to have one or two of them freshmen on his team. But I think he needs to limit himself with how many of them he grabs. I don't know if you can win with 5 of them anymore. You may have to get you one or two of them type of guys, and then you need to go get you some veteran, some juniors and seniors from some other programs in the transfer portal. You need to get you some just physically developed guys. You might have to sacrifice some talent and some potential and just get you some guys that can just bang, some bruisers. Get you some guys that you know going to be tough around the basket, going to rebound, and try to develop them into the type of basketball players that you want. And then mix it in a little bit with some of the talented freshmen. Because in the beginning of this ride, Calipari, he was up front with us. He said he's players first, and we were kind of like, all right, we listening to what you're saying. Some people never bought into that, but I did buy into it because he said if I get the best players, the winning will take care of itself. And when he started his career off here, it was taking care of itself. Like 1 championship and 4 Final Fours that's Hall of Fame worthy. So he was definitely holding up his end of the bargain. So it's like, okay, cool. We have to turn over the team every year. But if you're going to keep bringing in guys that can compete for a championship, it's cool. But for whatever reason now, it just seems too difficult. And I don't know what's going on, but it's a whole lot now. You got to deal with the NIL programs, kids wanting the money. You got to deal with transfers. So you got to keep kids happy on your team. You got to look at kids from other schools. It's just a lot. And some of this, man, even big corporations might even be getting in the middle of this. Because, you take a situation like DJ Wagner, for example, right? DJ Wagner had some moments during the season where he looked amazing. And I feel like at some point, DJ Wagner is going to be a solid professional basketball player. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar or anything like that. But at some point, I think he'll probably be at least a solid starter. A decent role player in the NBA. But when you're looking at, he's already, even though he hasn't proven anything, he's already got a Nike deal. So it's it might be some pressure. I don't know. But it may be some pressure coming from some of these corporations like a Nike to say, hey, you can't put DJ Wagner on the bench, man. He's the one we chose. He's the next one up. So it could just be a whole lot of things factoring into what's going on. But the climate of Kentucky basketball is just in a bad state. And I feel like everybody right now wants a change. And I would be happy if Calipari would rededicate himself to Kentucky instead of to the NBA. If Calipari came out and said, hey, listen, I know when I first got here, I was players first and, we were winning. And I was able to get everybody to the NBA. Everybody was being satisfied. But now that I've reevaluated things, I have been slipping on my end of the bargain with you. And I'd like to rededicate myself to Kentucky. I would be okay if he stayed as long as he started coaching to win college basketball games. But if he's not going to do that, I'm not going to lie to you. I would be okay with the change, even if it meant Kentucky struggling for a few years, because I just feel like we've been struggling for a few years anyways, and we're supposed to have all of these super talented players. And I don't want to shit on the players, because I believe that even though I don't think that the players care about the name on the front of the jersey as much as they used to, I do think that they want to win when they're here. I do think they take pride in playing for the school that they choose while they're playing for the school. I just think that, ultimately their agenda is to move on to the NBA, and this is a pipeline for them. So it's not going to be the main priority, even though I do think that they care while they're here. Like, I think they put in effort. They try to win. But I just wish that, we could have a coach that could bring in quality players, because you're still going to be at Kentucky. You still should be able to get some quality players. Bring in some quality players, pair that with some good coaching, some strategic coaching to win college games, and then we could be competing for championships every couple of years like some of these other schools, like the Dukes, like the North Carolinas, the Kansases, the UConns. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where I want Kentucky to be. That's where Kentucky deserves to be. Kentucky does not deserve to be the laughing stock of college basketball. Last night, I felt like everybody in the country was laughing at Kentucky. They starting to say things about us like we're the Dallas Cowboys of college basketball and different things like that. And, shouts out to any Dallas Cowboy fans that might watch my content. But, we don't want to be associated with just always being good on paper. Like, we want to be associated with being able to back it up with the results. So at the end of the day, man, I hope that good changes come, whether it be sticking with Calipari or moving on. But last night was really disappointing, man. It definitely got my spirits down a little bit, especially because I got so many, I got tagged in so many posts. So many people was trolling me about the game. And it's really hard to really defend it right now because we look terrible. Our coach looked like he didn't know what he was doing. Our players didn't look prepared. They didn't look motivated. Except for like a couple of them. Like I said, Trey Mitchell and Antonio Reeves came to play. They showed up for us. They tried to get it to win it for us, but it just unfortunately didn't work out like that. And if we would have got some production from some of our other more consistent players, we probably would have been good. But unfortunately, we didn't. But yeah, man, Kentucky is in one of those states right now where I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to feel. But yeah, I was super disappointed, man. Super disappointed. But, as always, it's not going to stop, man. We're going to keep doing our thing. I'm going to start looking at some of the new guys because I know majority of this roster is going to be gone. I don't plan on seeing very many of these guys back, if any. So I guess we'll look to the future. And as of right now, Calipari is our coach. As of right now, the kids that he recruited are coming for next year. So I'm going to try to move forward. But anyways, as usual, you guys let me know in the comments how you felt about last night's game, how disappointed you were, and especially let me know how you feel about Calipari. Do you think it's time for Cal to go? Do you still support him? Are you stuck in the middle? Just let me know what your feelings are. We'll get back at it next time. Sports and Discourse with Derek Stevenson.